ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed presidential candidates, united, seated before us. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess I was invited maybe so that recognize that I was here. As you know, this is really, they are the message for this morning. And I think the message has been delivered in its fullest measure. Let me use the opportunity given to me, first of all, to really congratulate these brave gentlemen that have, over the last 60 days, done everything humanly possible to reach out to all the people of our country. First of all, the campaign time was incredibly short. Uganda is divided into 146 districts. Those are the local governments. So they had 60 days to traverse 146 local governments. 351, I think, electoral constituencies in 60 days. Funny enough, those who are campaigning in one parish to become councillors of a parish have about 6 months to campaign. Those to campaign in over 60,000 parishes have only 60 days. And this is by design. As you know, the law and our constitution provides that this electoral process, especially the presidential electoral process, lasts more than a year. And a year before campaigns, any aspirant to become a presidential candidate has freedom to consult widely in the country so that that candidate can make up his or her mind as whether to become a candidate, and indeed, if one decides to become a candidate, to be fully seized of the situation in the country that he or she wants to offer leadership for. And indeed, to be able to construct the relevant policies on which to campaign. None of these gentlemen had that opportunity. And this was not about COVID. This was well before COVID came. That right that they have to consult within the country about their candidature was never allowed. They indeed sought the Electoral Commission's intervention to make sure that they consult. The Electoral Commission said, yes, you go and consult, but they never left their homes. Especially the Honorable Kyagulanyi tried, I think on a number of occasions, totally unsuccessfully. It would end up in pain. And all of them are becoming candidates for the first time, which would make it absolutely necessary for that consultation to have taken place. It wasn't. And so I really want to congratulate them that in spite of the untold obstacles and believable obstacles that have been erected along their paths of expressing their readiness to offer leadership, they have weathered all those storms up to the end of this campaign. The terror that has been meted out on these candidates is frankly unprecedented. I have been a candidate 4 times. And, well, I have seen many moments of deja vu, where I have been before. But there were also moments that I hadn't experienced in the previous election. So the violence, terror, it seems to be scaled up every coming election. And that is, I believe, not surprising, because the lower the support of the regime goes, the more they repress it, with repression and violence. So this election has witnessed untold violence. This was not about COVID. Make no mistake about this. Because the regime is not worried about COVID at all, actually. If you go downtown and see how people are gathered in markets and in all kinds of crowds that are milling around town, uninterfered with and regulated, you will know that this is not about COVID. Indeed, even during this very campaign, the crowds of those associated with the regime were never interfered with. It was only an attempt to stopping these gentlemen to get and the other candidates who are not here, to get to the voters and to pass on their message. So really, I congratulate all of you upon this heroic exercise that you are emerging from. We've seen in this particular election a presidential candidate having to campaign putting on a flak jacket, and helmets. If Mr. Museveni stays in office by the next election, one of the prerequisites to be a presidential candidate will be to certainly procure some kind of an armored trucks from which you can pull out your head in a bulletproof helmet to be able to say anything. It gets worse and worse by the day. So really, I congratulate all of you, and I wouldn't like to certainly water down the message that has already been effectively delivered about the need for this togetherness. The need for this togetherness to fight for people's will to be respected. That is what this is about. And don't forget, Ugandans, that Mr. Museveni must win 50% of the vote plus one to be declared a winner. In other words, more than half of all valid votes cast must be in the name of Mr. Museveni for him to be declared a winner. So it doesn't matter whom you vote for, provided you guard the vote so that Mr. Museveni does not have 50% of voters casting a vote in his favor. He will be out of office. And if he wants to stick, that is also what our togetherness is here for, to make sure that any unconstitutional extension of his mandate is stopped. We must do everything within our power to stop any unconstitutional extension of his office. So some people sometimes tend to get discouraged when they see the forces of change not presenting one person, but that is not the most critical thing, because it is the other one who must win 50%. And so regardless of these, and that's the wonderful thing about togetherness, because if Mr. Museveni failed to win 50%, it means immediately all these would rally behind whoever has the highest vote and into a second round of voting. So everybody should really cast their vote protect it to the extent possible. And I told you that part of what has concerned me in this campaign is on that side of how we can protect these things and see that our constitution is respected. So thank you very much. Niliombwa labda ni jaribu kueleza kwa ufupi ujumbe wa leo. Kwanza, sina utaalamu wa kutosha kuzungumza Kiswahili. Hapa nchini kwetu Uganda kuna mtu yeyote ambaye anafundishwa kuongea Kiswahili. Tunajifundisha sisi wenyewe. Wagombea urais hawa watatu, mmoja ni mgombea wa urais kutoka chama cha Forum for Democratic Change FDC, Mheshimiwa Patrick Oboy Amuriat. Mgombea wa pili hapa ni Jamadari Gregory Mugisha Muntu, ambaye ni mgombea wa chama cha Alliance for National Transformation ANT, na mgombea wa tatu ni Mheshimiwa Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu, ambaye anaongoza chama cha National Unity Platform NUP, na wamekuja pamoja hapa hasa kwa kutoa ujumbe unapoanguka kwa sehemu tatu. Sehemu ya kwanza ni kuonyesha umoja wao, kwamba wamekubaliana, ati ingawa wote ni wagombea, wamekubaliana kushikana mkononi na kuona kwamba kwanza wanatoa mwito kwa wananchi wote wawe tayari kupiga kura na kutoka nyumbani siku ya 14 mwezi huu, na ndiyo siku ya Alhamisi wiki hii, Thursday, kwamba kila mmoja awajibika, aonyeshe uwajibu wake kuona kwamba anaenda kupiga kura. Hiyo ndiyo muhimu sana wa kwanza. Huwezi kusema unataka mabadiliko bila kujitolea kuonyesha kwamba unataka mabadiliko. Kwa hivyo basi, kila mmoja ambaye hasa nataka mabadiliko nchini mwetu awajibike kuona kwamba siku ya Alhamisi anaenda mahali anapigia kura na kupiga kura yake. Na tunajua vile wametangaza kwa urefu hatua zinazochukuliwa na serikali kutesha watu na kuona kwamba watu hawaende kuhudhuria. Mwito wa candidates wetu ni kwamba hayo ni majaribio ya kuona kwamba msipoende kupiga kura wanapata ushindi. Kwa hivyo hakikisha kwamba kila moja unaenda kupiga kura yake. Ujumbe wa pili ni kwamba vile kutokana na historia yetu kura zinaibwa. Watu wamekuwa wanapiga kura wakati wa uchaguzi wote, watu wanapiga kura, lakini kura zao hazifaidiki. Na tofauti na uchaguzi wa nyuma, tunataka kila mmoja aweke bidii iwezekanavyo kuona kwamba hakuna mwenye ataiba kura hii. Hivyo basi, kisha piga kura yako, hakikisha kwamba unabakia pale pale. Sheria na kuruhusu kupiga kura na kubakia. Tume la uchaguzi la hakimu Kyagulanyi limekuwa linatoa tangazo ambazo ziko kinyume cha sheria kwamba uruhusiwe kubaki kwa kituo cha kupiga kura. Hiyo ni kinyume cha sheria kabisa. Sheria inaruhusu mpiga kura yeyote kupiga kura na kubakia pale pale, ila tu hakikisha kwamba unafanya matakio ya afya. Na matakio ya afya ni mawili makubwa. Kwanza, weka maski yako. Ukienda kwa kupiga kura, hakikisha unavaa maski yako, enda nayo. Pili, peana nafasi hasa isiyo chini ya mita 2. Peana nafasi. Hizo ndizo matakwa ya afya. Kishatimiza matakwa hayo, unakubalika kukaa kwa kituo cha piga kura. So, piga kura, hakikisha hakuna mtu